lot of you guys have been through the process, but he'll present for 15 to 20 minutes, and then the panel will ask questions, and then the general audience can ask questions, and we'll ask everybody to leave. We'll figure out how he's done. He's going to do pretty well, though. All right, so thank you for coming.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Teryn Miller, and this is my Senior X. So first, I want to talk about the problem. The problem that I found was that we had too many plastic bottles. The waste they cause and the fact that they're too expensive for students. Lack of creativity in the label, and well, that's not going to happen anymore. So my basic idea and what I did. So I really wanted to do something new in the Senior X presentation. Like, I wanted to do something that was not the norm. I was originally going to do like skydiving or something cool like that because I really wanted to do that, but I decided to do to make and market a product. So my Senior X teacher, Mr. P, just told me that I needed to go a different route. Like, I needed to do something that was along the lines of marketing but easier. He thought it was going to be too hard to accomplish, and so he told me to do like stock marketing or do something like that, but I refused. I wanted to do something that was a lot more fun to me. I remembered in the beginning of the year the new filtered water fountains that we have out like all around the school, and that kind of got me thinking, well, I want to do something along the lines of making a water bottle. So the news about Mr. Haney told us all about how he was getting rid of the plastic bottles, and I thought this was a perfect time to jump on that opportunity. So my solution was a new idea to bring a safe, unique way to stay hydrated, and I came up with the anything bottle. So what is my essential question? What has the process of starting my own business taught me? So basically, my prior knowledge was nothing. I mean, I've never done anything of this magnitude before. It was very hard for me to like get started and to know where to start. I assumed it wouldn't be hard to create something, but basically I decided that I needed to do something along the lines of like a label. I couldn't do it took a long time, and basically every step I had to do was like a new thing, and it basically like I couldn't do something until the previous step was done. Right over here, I'm warming up the bottle machine because I'm going to make one while we do this. So narrowing down the idea, I basically started with I wanted to make a physical bottle. I wanted to do like a different shape, a cool shape that people would want, and for that I had to talk to Mr. Taylor. He was my first person I went to before I had a mentor. He told me I should do something like making prototypes in ceramics class, along the lines of that. But I decided against it because it wasn't going with my timeline. I only had like 2.5 months or so starting to where I was, and I couldn't make something and then like send it away to get manufactured and then revise it and make it better, and just wasn't my timeline. So I went for a label for a bottle. So finding a mentor. My mentor is Ben Baxter. He's an inventor. He's had several patents himself. He's made something that he showed me when I went over there. It's like a water irrigation kind of thing for farm plots. It's like a water pump, but it basically works with solar power for other places, like in Africa and stuff like that. I needed someone who knew the steps to create like an idea into a product, and so that's why I chose him. So the first thing he advised me to do was make surveys. Surveys are a really important step in getting started. I needed to figure out something that people wanted, so I needed to ask them. So my first survey, this colorful one up here, was just a blind survey. I went around and asked 35 kids what they liked in the bottle and what they wanted to see. So the 3 questions were, what feature do you find most important in the bottle? What size is the perfect size? And how important is the design? So basically, all these color codes are things that I've done myself where like all of the same answers are the same color, and I've picked the same, the ones with the highest amount of reoccurrences as like the major 3 that I would, ask the whole student body. So my huge survey, which I did, which I put online with Mr. Arnold's help, he put it on the school webpage. I got 159 respondents, and they told me what they wanted. I said, would you like to purchase a personalized reusable water bottle? And like, what's the maximum price you'd pay, and if personalization was important to you? And all those questions were answered, and I got very good results for this being something that I was just starting. I mean, a little bit over than 60% of the kids said that they would want one, and it was in my price range. Like, it wasn't too cheap, and they were willing to do it. And so I thought this is a great place to get started. So now that I knew what people wanted, I need to figure out a name/logo. I went with Uniflow. That was my first choice, right? I thought it was catchy. I thought it was like, I don't know. But the thing is that it didn't describe what my bottle was actually doing. It was just like a name, and I wanted to have a meaning behind my name. And so that's why I chose the anything bottle, because you can really just put anything on it. So basically, so now that I knew a name and I had a logo, I had to pick a bottle. So now the first thing I chose was the stainless steel sports bottle, which is the blue one. And I went on websites, I looked for them, I looked for things that were really like a good qualities, like it was low cost, but it was BPA free, reliable. It was a nice design. I wanted it to be metal because I didn't want to have that plastic bottle feel. I wanted it to be like a reusable bottle that people liked. The one I went with was this one over here to the right. It's cheaper, a lot cheaper than the other one, and these costs aren't like just for like one bottle. I had to buy in bulk, so that used up a lot of my grant money, because like the more you buy, the cheaper they are. This was like the cheapest they were, so they were a little bit more than that. But so getting funding, that was probably one of the biggest challenges, because there was a lot of problems with the printer at the end, but I'll go into that. So the first thing I got were the bottles, and those were with the help of Miss Littlefield. She basically, I forgot to put the bottle in, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this. All right, so the bottles were something that Miss Littlefield helped me get. I had MDIHS, which is the grant foundation, help me with the bottles. And after that, I got the heat press myself. So this is the heat press. This is what I'm using to actually put the label on the bottle. And then the printer, which was the big thing, was something that took a long time to get. I wanted to get a nice printer that would print these specific kind of images. It's not just like any old printer. It's one that prints certain type of ink, and so therefore you need to like do your research about it. It took me a long time to find the one I liked, and when I found that, I realized that it was really expensive, and at first I wanted to get the extra money because I had no more money in my grant from the art department. I was going to ask them to help me out, and they were going to chip in and or start up the money for it, and I would pay them back and give the school the printer, which was the conditional part. But that ended up not working out because it was it was too expensive for the art department to get. So then I went and I tried to get Cadillac Mountain Sports to help me out. This taught me a lot about going and getting something, putting myself out there and putting myself out there and trying to get money and fundraise and stuff. Cadillac Mountain Sports also declined. It wasn't the right time of season. They weren't willing to do a trade where if I put their logo on my bottle for their advertisement, they weren't willing to do that. But yeah, so marketing. So marketing was probably one of my favorite parts of this. The original thought was I didn't want to make a profit off of this at all. I wanted to do something that was completely reasonable for the student body and for the faculty and everyone that works at MDI. I wanted to do it so it wasn't expensive for the quality that was put into it. I mean, if you wanted to get something like this online, First of all, you need to mass order it. You need to buy it in bulk. And this is one bottle individual. So it's a lot cheaper than you could ever do online. And it's currently nothing that is online. Like, it's an original idea. So the cost of the bottles, I figured, were going to be $10. Reasonable for everyone, and also to keep me basically to stay on my feet with selling them and whatnot. So marketing, another part of marketing was I originally planned to make a website so that people could order their bottle off of the website and like email me what they want and whatnot, but I ended up not doing that because it's a lot harder than it seems to like express what you want in an email. So I chose like word of mouth. I went around and talked to people. I wanted to see what they wanted, and they could tell me what they wanted. I could interpret it easier. And so I just talked to people. I made a Facebook page, and I made a commercial, which I put on the Facebook page and whatnot. These are some stills from the commercial. And basically, I went around the school, and I went to like pretty much all aspects of the school, and I included them in this commercial, and I tried to get everyone using the bottle and making it seem like it was a part of a school thing. So how do I do this? Now that I have everything, now I had all the equipment and whatnot, how do I actually do this? I mean, it's a lot harder than it seems when you're just thinking about it. So creating the label, I used a Acorn application, or the Acorn application on a Mac computer. And these are just some of the ones that I've made. Like this one was Emma Suchek's, and she made hers herself. She drew it.
What's your cooking time on your bottle?
5 minutes. Yeah. But she made this one by herself. She drew it and then scanned it in. Also, Sean put his together by himself. But I put all these together, and I just think it's cool, the creativity and like everything that you can do with it. I mean, it's like so universal. Like everyone, you can have music, you can have a sunset, you can have pictures of your kids, you can have whatever you're into on the bottle, and that's why I like this idea. So transferring the label, basically that's what I'm doing right now. You have to print out, I used a printer and I cut out the label size. I told myself in the beginning, I was like, all right, I know I have to reverse the image because when I put it on the bottle, it's going to flip around. And within the third one I printed, I hadn't reversed it. I mean, it's the first thing I thought of and I forgot. So, yeah. All right, hold on one second. Through trial and error, I pretty much decided that it's about 5 minutes and 10 seconds. To like transfer the bottle, and then I gotta let it cool, and then I'll take it off and I'll show you guys. But a lot of the heat tape I needed to get separately to keep it together because this is a really hot thing, and if you just use normal tape to keep the label on, it would just melt off or melt onto the bottle, which wouldn't be good. So a lot of the obstacles, I encountered so many obstacles in this, and one of the major ones was the color map on the printer, which is how the colors are projected and put on the piece of paper. It really was, it took me a long time to figure it out. I was printing and I was so excited. I got the first one out and I was like, why isn't this color working? Why is this color darker than it should be? I don't know why this is happening. And I had a lot of self-doubt because I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess up and I'm gonna have to give everyone their money back, and I'm not gonna be able to say I made this, and it's just gonna be a big disappointment for me. But I stuck with it, and I called the IT guys at the place I got the printer. I talked with them for over an hour. I figured it out, and I had to go in and individually change each bottle or change each image to like a different color set that would work with the printer. So that took a lot of my time up. All right, current status. I've sold 52 bottles since I started, and 40 of those, or 39, were the day before Christmas break. I had finally gotten everything, like all my equipment and everything, and I just went kind of like out of class and just kind of went to all the study halls and everyone. I tried to get as many as I could, and I ended up doing that. After Christmas break, after I delivered the first set, I was really busy with like schoolwork and stuff, so I hadn't gone around and actually like sold many bottles. But the cool thing is that people had come up to me and ask me for bottles, you know, instead of me going to them, which I thought was like the most amazing thing ever. And my next step, which Ben helped me figure out, was that I needed to get a trademark and domain names for my brand. So the Anything bottle is my brand, and I want to keep it, and I want to get the domain names on the computer and trademark the logo, so that I can keep doing this and hopefully do it in the future. So what? So what has the process of starting my own business taught me? It's taught me a lot about how to sample a population, find out the needs of the population, and see like what they exactly want. Create a product, first of all, from just thinking of an idea one night and actually doing it. There's so many steps in it, and it's just, it's crazy to actually get it going and actually to where I am now. How to manage a project with this many moving parts. I mean, there's so many things that I needed to realize and get, and I was doing this all off of no knowledge at all. I was researching, and I was like, all right, what do I need to get? Okay, I forgot this. It's going to eat up more time. My timeline was off. It was so many things. It was a really high-stress environment. So, how will this help me in the future? I think this will help me in the future a lot, because I have a lot more confidence now talking to like random strangers, I would say. I know a lot of people in school, but I don't know everyone. I went around to more than like 60% of the kids at MDI and just tried to get to know them personally, tried to see what they would want if they wanted a bottle. I dealt with a lot of rejection of, no, I don't want a bottle, I already have one, or anything like that. But I stuck with it. I kept on going. I kept on meeting new people and trying to get them what they wanted. It gave me a sense of what the school is like. I mean, there's these different groups of the school. Like, you got the cliques of the school, but then you have people in those cliques who like different things, and that's what I thought was cool, is that some people would tell me what they wanted, but some people would just have a design already, and I thought it was really cool how they made it themselves, and I'm like, this is so creative. I wish I could have done this, you know? So I just wanted to say thank you to Ben Baxter, first of all. He was a super helpful mentor. Every time I had a question, or every time I felt like I wasn't going to get it, or I was going to like start losing it or lose my time, I talked to him. He helped me figure out my next step, and that was really crucial. Thank you to Mr. P and Miss Dillon. They were awesome in the Senior X environment and the Senior X class, trying to get my reflections done, helped me figure all that out, and helped me with my slideshow. Thank you to MDIHS, which is the grant foundation. If I hadn't had them, none of this would have been possible at all. It's crazy that they would help me this far, and I'm just so grateful for that. And then all of my friends and my family who helped me. My dad helped me with the commercial. Everyone who bought a bottle and contributed to my success. It was great. Thank you. And these are my sources. All right.
Anybody
Questions?
have any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about what your sources are?
Yeah, so most of my sources are like places I got the bottles from, or like the heat press, and then a lot of them are like researching. So like, I mean, these are mostly like where I bought stuff. A lot of it was like it was just knowledge I had picked up through, like, I was like, all right, what are the steps I need to do? Sometimes I would look online, and sometimes I would just be like, all right, well, I can't do this unless I have this, you know? So a lot of it was just like my knowledge trying to get to where I am. A lot of it was Ben helping me. And I had a lot of people that helped me, so I used them as sources, because like a lot of the faculty at the school, like Miss Littlefield, Mr. Haney, Mr. Arnold, who was willing to like help me with the website, even though I didn't do it. Like, everyone at the school chipped in and helped, and it was so great.
Can we see the
Are you,
Oh yeah.
are you interested in a business career? Is that why you
So
chose this?
I kinda am. I'm a little on the edge of what I want, because I like marketing. If I had to go into a business thing, it would be just straight up like salesman marketing. I wouldn't want to like do something else, but basically, all right, so this one I got from the idea, Julia Mace did a bunch of albums that she liked. So this is, I just put a bunch of albums that I listen to, music that I listen to, and I put it all in the bottle.
You didn't, I mean, you mentioned funding, but Did you go into an analysis of how many of these things you'd have to sell in order to break
Yep.
even?
Yeah. So.
At that point?
Yeah, so basically, I got 100 in the first part, and because of the grant, the first grant, I didn't have to basically like pay that back. So I used the that grant as like startup, and then I have to pay back the printer. So I basically need to sell all 100, all 100 of these bottles because to get all my equipment costs and get a little bit more bottles. I don't know how many more I will sell though. So if I sell these 100, these 100, then I will be getting more and hopefully work out of that equipment cost stage. But right now it's basically equipment costs.
So, so you have a number of designs that you showed us, like 6 or something?
Yeah.
So you have 6 different labels that have your logo embedded in it?
Yep, so
they're not all the same?
no, they're not.
They're sort of an array that will speak to people's personalities
Yep.
or whatever?
So they tell me what they want.
Oh, right, so you can request your label.
Yeah, and then, but I'll just put my little label on there just because it's, mine.
Right.
Ben, did you have a question?
Well, that was, my first observation is you should know that he embedded his logo in everyone. I think you said you missed the first one.
Yeah.
But he began embedding his Anything Bottle logo into every
Yep,
bottle and everyone else's design,
yep.
which is something you want to make sure you got permission for if you've got a contract to do a design for somebody, you want to make sure you could insert your logo with that.
Yeah.
You make that a condition of the sale. But he did this, and he came in with a bottle, I think the one he showed me didn't have it on there. And I said, well, you need to get your logo snuck in. But he'd already done it. He crossed that corner after bottle number 1, he realized, oh, I've got a trademark.
Yeah.
So he's learned the difference between patenting and trademarking. And I think the surprise on your face was quite strong when I said, you can't patent this now, you sold it. You can't sell anything after you cannot sell and then patent. You have to patent before you sell dime 1. That's the rule.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because the concept is not what he's patenting. What he's patenting is his his trademark, his sales skill, his marketing. Those are the things that are Teryn Miller. He did a tremendous job of and he put his hands to the fire. He didn't have to do this, as he said, and he went through these very difficult stages, which are exactly what every inventor goes through. There's no week when I don't put my heart in my throat and say, oh my God, I'm not going to make it, this is going to fail.
Yeah.
But you get through it, and that's the difference between somebody who produces something and doesn't. And he produced something. Now, yes, you didn't sell enough to cover your costs.
But I will, yeah.
But you will. And the key is, he's come to realize that deferred gratification is part of the deal. You've got to wait 2 years on the average business to even come close to breaking even. A lot of people go 5 or 6.
And that's what we talked about, but basically, there's a lot of, technical stuff that Ben helped me with, but that's all, takes up too much time anyway, yeah. So, does anyone else have any questions?
Did you ever explore the possibility of making these things with 3D printers?
No, I definitely didn't even think about anything of that sort of nature because, first of all, I don't have the money. And I feel like it wouldn't be suitable because to make something of that sort, I'd need to sell it for a lot, and I feel like my market is kids who just want to have something cool for a cheap price, So that's why I did it this way.
You made the right decisions right down the line. To be able to generate a product like this in such a short time.
Yeah. All right, Ms. McCosker.
I just wonder if, regardless of what college program, you're going to be in some kind of college with a bunch of young people, and do you anticipate maybe doing this kind of process again?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about it, and it's definitely a possibility. I still have, this is my thing, so it's still a possibility if I want to do it or not. We'll see in the future. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again in a little bit. I'm still doing it for this high school, but I don't know. I'll probably do it again later on. I'm not sure. Who knows what the future is. Yeah.
Be a good part-time job for college.
Yeah.
Teryn?
Yeah.
Just one more plug for you. I think one key, the other time you really lit up was when you started talking about the graphics.
Yeah.
You showed it here when you recognized the exposure you were getting from other people's
Yeah.
talent, but you've got talent in that area. And so
Yeah.
if you go to school and you start doing business classes, don't forget to take some graphics arts.
Yeah.
You've shown a talent in that too.
Okay,
Design
thanks.
the logo.
Yeah, I designed most of the labels. I mean, aside from maybe like,
The logo with
yeah.
the dots.
yeah. Well, I used like a program, but basically, yeah.
He
Yeah.
designed the logo, and he had to alter, as you would in all these, he had to customize everyone else's design.
Yeah, yeah.
But a
Yep.
lot of the work, if you look at some of the interlacing he did in some of the more complex pattern bottles, they're great. I wish you had run a series of the.
Yeah, I think it's because of the time. The time is that we don't have.
It's neat. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, great job. So we'll have to ask everybody about the panel to leave.